What's up? Anybody who knows me in my personal life, well, anybody that knows me in my professional life, well, okay, anybody that knows me probably knows that I put this high premium on authenticity and being genuine. And so there's that combined with, look, I know that there's going to be more interest and more viewers if I act, much more animated than I normally am. So, I'm not trying to be anybody that I'm not. And at the same time, I'm so happy today. And now, the reason for that needs to stay a little bit under the radar, because not everybody that knows what this is all about knows yet. Or let me rephrase that: not everybody that needs to know knows it yet. And I want to give honor and respect to how this plays out. But so this is truly one of the better days of my life. I was reflecting on the days that might have been not even better, but I will share the story real briefly about how I was in a skydiving mishap. I used to skydive avidly. I've got probably about 50 or 60 free falls. And when I was learning, I had gotten into a tangle, a mishap, and the instructors had told me ahead of time, as I'm sure they do everybody, when these things occur, here's how to resolve them, and if you can't get it resolved this way, then do that, and if that doesn't work, pull the parachute anyhow, because while it's probably going to end up in a streamer with no value to the parachute, and you're probably going to die anyway. Well, who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky. Well, by the time I got the problem resolved, I had looked at my altimeter, and it was I was about maybe a second and a half from hitting the ground by my calculations. And that is when I pulled the plug, as we say in skydiving, the pilot chute. And being that when I was in it, I was doing some self-talk about, okay, stay calm, take care of business, do what they tell you, or it's over. And then so by the time the parachute, pilot chute expanded, that I was so happy, and I was so obviously happy. But not only was I alive, but I had to take care of business, and there's a whole lot of joy to that. So anyhow, the point being that during the course of my drug using days, I went through, quite literally years-long bouts of using meth and crack, and there was a bout of heroin there didn't last years, but that was like maybe 10 months or so that I was using heroin. Point being that there is not a drug to compare to how high I was for hours and hours and hours after that. It is a little bit different than this, because this is not an episode that it's kind of coming out of the blue. It's more of a life-altering experience that speaks to big changes coming in my life, and some required efforts that I want to put effort into these changes. I know it's a little cryptic, but I'm sure people will catch on soon enough if you don't already know. So anyway, great day. I went for a 2-mile walk, and it was probably, I think it was 80 degrees today, and so that was good for me. So when I got to thinking about how happy I am, I was thinking about doing a talk that includes the fact that there are scientifically evidence-based strategies for improving happiness in our lives. And we want to understand that happiness as a state of well-being that is fairly constant, as opposed to just joyous experiences like living through skydiving, which ain't bad, but that's not going to stay with a person forever. But learning to develop strategies for overall happiness, at least improvement, that will work. And so I got to talk on that, and that's coming up. And what's better than happiness? You know, I mean, I suppose there's just, well, no, I suppose I know there's a lot that goes into these things. So stay tuned. Here it comes. Peace out.